A hunter returns to camp with enough meat to feed everyone. He expects praise. Instead, the camp laughs at him. They call the animal skinny, worthless, barely worth carrying home. Then they eat it. Among the hoansi studied by anthropologist Richard Lee, successful hunters could be treated this way on purpose. Even the hunter might describe his own kill as though it were nothing. Why would people mock one of the most useful members of the group? Why do humans still react this way to success? To answer that, we have to look at what the hunter brought back besides meat. Richard Lee spent years living among the hoansi, an indigenous hunter-gatherer people of southern Africa. Communities gave him a rare chance to observe something archaeology almost never preserves: how people reacted when success entered the camp. He didn't just hear about the custom. Eventually, they did it to him. Lee bought a large ox for a Christmas feast and expected the community to appreciate it. Instead, people complained that it looked old, weak, and almost worthless. Lee began to worry that he had chosen badly. But when the ox was slaughtered, it contained plenty of meat and fat. They knew it was a good animal. Lee had begun to enjoy the role of generous provider. They accepted the food, not the pride attached to it. The hoansi called this insulting the meat. A successful hunter might even describe his own kill as small or disappointing before anyone else had seen it. When the animal arrived, everyone else could continue. Too thin. Hardly any meat. Barely worth the effort. Even credit for the kill could be spread across more than one person. In some hoansi hunting traditions, the animal was associated with the owner of the arrow that struck it, not automatically with the hunter who fired it. By the end, one person's achievement had become everyone's meal. Humans still make success smaller before anyone else gets the chance. It was nothing. I got lucky. Anyone could have done it. The achievement stays. The pride disappears. If the meat was not the problem, the danger lay in what the hunter might claim because of it. A large animal fed the camp once. The reputation of the person who killed it could last much longer. A successful hunt displayed knowledge, patience, endurance, courage, and the ability to return with something everyone wanted. The meat disappeared. People remembered who brought it back. Among foraging peoples, hunting could generate social rewards as well as food. A person known for difficult kills could gain trust, admiration, and influence. But influence can take different forms. Respect is earned, control is taken. We still struggle to separate someone's ability from the authority we give them. A skilled hunter might begin with prestige and gradually act as though success entitled him to more authority over people who had shared camp life long before the animal arrived. A large kill made that success difficult to hide. One household could not use all the meat, so sharing solved a practical problem. It also turned the hunt into a public event. Everyone could see who had succeeded. They needed to block one conclusion. I contributed more, so I stand above you. The hunter had brought back food. He had also brought back a reason for people to listen to him. The group now had to decide how far that influence was allowed to go. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm compared 48 societies and found that equality was not maintained by good intentions alone. Groups criticized, mocked, ignored, and sometimes even ostracized people who became too domineering. In more serious cases, a person could be avoided or pushed out. Boehm described this pattern as a reverse dominance hierarchy. One powerful individual might be stronger than any single critic. He was not stronger than everyone refusing to obey him. That allowed a capable hunter to gain respect without gaining the right to command. The group could admire his skill, eat the meat he brought back, and still laugh when he behaved as though the achievement placed him above everyone else. A joke could make superiority embarrassing before it became dangerous. It also gave the hunter a path back into the group. He could laugh with them, minimize the kill, share the meat, and stop acting as though everyone now owed him something. The message was not necessarily, "You no longer belong here." It could be, "You still belong here, but not as our ruler." Every close group eventually has to answer the same question. How much success should change someone's place in the group? Humans still use laughter to lower people who appear to be rising above the group. But the joke alone does not tell us whether the target has become arrogant or whether the group has become uncomfortable with difference. It worked because the hunter still needed the people laughing at him. A joke from a stranger can be ignored. A joke repeated by the people you depend on carries more weight. Among mobile hunter-gatherers such as the Hadza of northern Tanzania, an ordinary camp might contain around 20 to 30 people, although groups could become larger at certain times. These people shared food, cared for children, joined hunts, exchanged information, and decided whether they wanted to keep living alongside one another. In a group that small, rejection did not require formal exile. It could begin with a change in tone. A familiar joke becomes sharper. Praise turns into sarcasm. People stop choosing you as a partner. The group may still accept what you provide while becoming less comfortable with what they think you are becoming. The hunter could not simply leave the room and spend the evening with an entirely different social circle. The people laughing today might be the same people he needed tomorrow. They might help track an animal, share food after a failed hunt, protect his family, or support him during illness. Reputation, survival, and belonging occupied the same space. Modern life feels larger, but most of us still care most about the opinions of a surprisingly small circle. The people whose approval matters have changed. The feeling hasn't. Yet one camp was not always his entire social world. Among the Hadza, camps divided, reformed, and changed membership over time. In 2012, Corin Apicella and her colleagues studied 205 adults across 17 Hadza camps. They asked participants whom they would want to live with after the current camp dispersed. Today's camp was not necessarily tomorrow's camp. When relationships became unworkable, distance could become another option. This does not mean people abandoned every difficult relationship. It does not mean successful hunters routinely left jealous groups to find people who admired them more. It means one damaged relationship did not always define someone's entire place in the wider human network. One camp's rejection could matter without becoming rejection from everyone. Modern humans still rebuild belonging this way. A person treated as arrogant in one group may enter another where the same ambition seems ordinary. But a better fit does not prove the old group was wrong. The role that once held them together may no longer work. Belonging could be reorganized. Moving still left one question unanswered. What had the group been trying to correct? No one denied that the hunter had done something useful. What they denied was that usefulness had rewritten his place among everyone else. Skill could earn respect, not obedience. That pressure helped keep small groups equal. But a group powerful enough to restrain arrogance was also powerful enough to restrain change. The laughter could mean, "You have forgotten that you are one of us," or "You are no longer behaving like the version of you we know how to accept." Most of us will eventually experience both sides of this. We will watch someone change and wonder if they've become arrogant. And one day we may become the person everyone insists has changed. Sometimes the person needs humility. Sometimes the group needs to make room. And sometimes belonging has to be built somewhere new. So when people pull someone back down, the question is not simply whether they dislike success. It is whether they are protecting equality or protecting the version of you they already understand.